Okay, kabatchan, the intense heat we're experiencing these days also poses problems for our gut health. How can we keep our tummies safe in this heat? Let's go find out. Joining us is gastroenterologist Dr. Dave Renel Ceboliena live via Zoom. It's a beautiful day. Doc Dave, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. It's a beautiful day.
Now, Doc, heat indices here in the Philippines have been so high the past couple of weeks and sobrang init. And we're not just dealing with the heat right now, but we also have to be extra careful with the food that we eat. Kasi alam naman natin na warm temperatures can create an environment where bacteria can thrive, and this can actually increase our risk of getting foodborne illnesses. So Doc, can you tell us what are the most common foodborne illnesses kapag sobrang init ng panahon, and how do we avoid them?
Okay. Well, with regards foodborne illnesses, as we've observed dito sa setting natin, both during summer months and the wet season, yung cases madami, So especially during summer months, yung food spoilage, mas mabilis, with the heat and the humidity, yung microorganisms, especially yung mga pathogenic bacteria, nakaka-contaminate ng food, mas mabilis yung growth niya. Mas mabilis siyang dumami. And with that, this would bring about gastroenteritis. Now, as I've previously said from my previous interviews, very important, for us consumers is before we eat, we need to wash our hands, Second, yung food na kakainin natin, kung bibili natin sa labas, nananawagan po kami sa mga kababayan po natin na nagpe-prepare po ng food. Please observe, proper handling techniques, pagkain. And at the same time, pag po yung pagkain matagal na, especially naka-expose with this weather, wag na po nating i-reheat, wag na po tayong manghinayang, and usually po doon nagkakaroon ng gastroenteritis, Number one, foods na hindi maganda yung preparation. Second, reheated foods, kahit po at times ni-reheat, yung mga masamang mikrobyo po, hindi po lahat natatanggal.
Okay.
Doc, there was a time recently wherein I accidentally drank spoiled milk. Hindi ko alam na spoiled hanggang natapos ko. But then when you take a look at the fact that minsan biglaan lumalabas yung mga symptoms, typically how long after consuming contaminated food do symptoms usually appear?
Okay. It's really very variable. It depends, number one, dun sa immunity ng patient, na naka-ingest, ng spoiled or contaminated na pagkain, Second, andito yung factor nung dose, yung dami nung mikrobyo na na-ingest nila. Pero I can give a ballpark, pwede pong as early as after 30 minutes of ingestion hanggang after mga 24 hours, dun po lalabas yung symptom. Now, ang dictum po natin, ang i-advise ko po sa patients and sa mga listeners po natin is be aware, doon po sa sense natin, meaning yung smell and yung taste, alam naman po natin usually yung amoy ng pagkain na fresh,
Yes.
and at the same time po yung lasa, So kung sa unang subo pa lang napansin yung parang it tastes different or iba yung amoy, then no need to further consume, yung pagkain po.
Doc, can you tell us what's the rule of thumb for keeping food out until we have to put it in the fridge, and how many times can we reheat our food?
Come again, what's the rule of?
The rule of thumb on how long we can leave our food out until it cools, until we have to
What's
put it in
rule
the
okay.
fridge.
Okay, for example, during lunchtime, may natirang ulam, no? So very important, no? We need to use serving spoons, no? Yun yung una, no? To prevent contamination of food. Next, no, after eating, pag yung pagkain more or less at room temperature na, no, we need to transfer yung food, no, sa clean container. And kung hindi naman iinitin at kakainin agad, I would advise na ilagay natin sa freezer. But kung for example po may kakain, let's say an hour or so after yung lunch, no, may hahabol tayong kapamilya, then we can just put a lid dun po sa pagkain. Pero para po sa akin, based rin po sa experience, wala po talagang rule of thumb, no? If more than 4 hours po na naka-expose lang po yung pagkain, no, then it's better to put the food kaagad po sa ref or sa freezer.
Yeah, lalo na ngayon, Doc, no, kasi sobrang init ng panahon, kaya
Yes.
yung 4 hours na yun, minsan that's just shortened. You just leave it for an
Yes.
hour on the table, iba na yung amoy di ba?
Yes, especially po kung may langaw, no,
Yeah,
sa
yes,
bahay.
yes.
Nadapuan ng langaw, then mas magiging accelerated po yung pagkakaroon ng growth ng pathogenic bacteria.
Right. Now, Doc, you know, in this heat, this hot weather, we're always reminded to stay hydrated, like drink a lot of water. Can you tell us, Doc, how does dehydration affect digestion, and what are the signs of an electrolyte imbalance?
Okay. So, with regards po sa hydration, no, yung pagiging hydrated natin, it brings about, no, dun muna tayo sa normal. If a patient is well hydrated, then definitely po yung flow of blood, yung supply of blood sa atin pong organs in general, maganda, no? So kung tayo po ma-dehydrate, then of course, no, the flow of blood, no, especially po sa mga organs, hindi po magiging maganda. And sa atin pong pangangatawan, no, wag na po sana nating paabutin yung severe dehydration, pero if that happens, no, napaprioritize po, no, yung brain and yung heart usually, no, in terms of severe dehydration. So much of the blood, no, doon po ida-direct, no, ng ating katawan sa supply sa brain and sa heart. And with that, no, yung blood supply po sa ating intestines, liver and pancreas, no, pwede pong maapektuhan. And what are the symptoms, no? So very variable po yung symptoms, no? Pwede pong maka-experience yung patient ng bloatedness, no? Second, some patients may experience diarrhea. On the other end po, yung iba pong patient pwedeng maka-experience ng constipation, no? So doon naman po kasi sa constipation, no, ang atin pong intestines, no, specifically po yung ating colon, no, one of its functions, no, besides processing yung stool and para po ilabas yung dumi, no, it reabsorbs, no, yung fluids po na nasa colon, no. So kung tayo po dehydrated, no, meron pong feedback mechanism ang katawan. And as much as possible po, no, titipidin and i-recycle po ng ating katawan yung tubig, no, na pwede niya pong ma-recycle.
Inside the body. So we really have to drink a lot of water, especially during this hot season. Now, Doc, before we let you go, where can we find you if we need a consultation, or if we need to have you answer more of our questions?
Okay. Sa society po natin, since I'm a member of the Philippine Society of Gastroenterology, no, as much as possible, we don't want to promote ourselves, no. But doon po sa ating mga listeners, you can check our website. We have a list of board-certified gastroenterologists doon po sa aming website, no. Kami po strong rin yung presence sa social media, and monthly meron po kaming nilalabas, no, na educational materials for our patients. Now, ma'am, if I may add, no, doon po sa isang question nyo, what are the signs ng electrolyte imbalance, no? So, Madami rin po ito, a gamut of symptoms, no? Weakness, no? Pwede pong magkaroon ng headache, pwede pong magkaroon ng cramps. Now, as a rule of thumb with regards po sa hydration, no, it's best that you drink water before you are thirsty, no?
Right,
And doon naman
right.
po sa mga kababayan natin na magtatanong, Dok, paano mo sasabi kung maganda yung hydration status ko? Then be very observant doon po sa color ng ating urine and
yeah.
doon sa frequency po ng ating pag-urinate.
Okay.
Pag medyo matingkad po yung kulay, bordering on the dark yellow to orange po yung ating ihi, then it means tayo po kulang sa fluids.
All right. Thank you so much, Doc.
Thank you.
We wish we had more time to talk to you, but thank you for joining us, Dr. Dave Ceboliena, ladies and gentlemen.
Maraming salamat po. Good morning.